Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's live. Just waiting for Luke to join us. Hope everybody's had a good week, and the weather isn't as wet where you are as where I am now. It's very, very, very wet out there. So it's actually probably quite a welcome bit of weather from all the dry weather that we've had recently, and I'm sure our dogs are thankful for it, actually, rather than the heat that we've been having recently. So yeah, Luke is on. Let me just invite him and say good evening. I see.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, look at it there. It looks beautiful.
It is quite warm. It's lovely.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
got Gonzo sat over there chilling out as well. Look. Hey, me.
That's glorious.
Yeah.
It's absolutely chucking it down here.
Is it? We had a little spell earlier, but other than that, no, it's been really nice, and it's hopefully it's going to be nice for the whole weekend.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it is. Where are you, over in Norfolk?
Yeah, I'm at the showground at the minute. There's a JAE Jap Fest for cars on, and we're there now setting up camp and everything, and we've got a car down here, so
Oh,
it'll be an interesting
fantastic.
weekend. So, yeah, for me, it's lucky. My weekend starts today. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a nice long weekend. So
very much so. And I'm gonna hopefully gonna I'm hopefully gonna enjoy it. It should be good.
yeah, fantastic. Right, well, a couple of people that have joined us already. So hi, Tony, for joining us, and hi, Hannah. So great that you've managed to kind of tune in tonight. As I said in my clip earlier on, we're going to be talking pretty much tonight, debating the topic of whether or not supplements are required with our dog's diet. So whatever we're kind of feeding, whether that's a natural raw diet or whether any type of diet really. Obviously, if you're buying a complete food, there is a big question mark as to, is a supplement actually necessary? So yeah, so Luke and I are really going to be going into a bit of detail about that, and some of the reasons why we feel that sometimes supplements aren't necessary, and obviously sometimes why they are. So Luke, do you want to kick this off this evening?
Yeah. Where would you like to begin? Would you like to begin in processed food and how I feel you should supplement that, maybe?
Yeah. Let's start with processed food. That's probably a good place
So,
to start.
yeah, so we'll talk about that. So it's dried biscuits we're going on about, and wet food that's in tins, processed pet food. So with these, I feel that it's actually quite vital to be adding ingredients to them in supplement form, especially a good fatty acid, and also because the dry food's so dry, I think we should also be adding in a lot of moisture. So adding in water here just to pull down that dryness and to push up the moisture, that would be absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant and helpful. Yeah, the like the supplement for fatty acids, so an omega-3 and 6 oil is required. Obviously, you want the omega-3s to be much higher because you're feeding an inflammatory diet anyway. So you want to be adding the anti-inflammatories in to balance that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Is that kind of more important, would you say, then, with the essential fatty acids with a more of a dry kind of commercial diet? Because there aren't a lot of essential fatty acids, obviously, in a commercial dry diet.
yeah, so the manufacturers, they make an effort to put it in. So yes, if you look on the label, it's there. I mean, it's plain sighted omega-3s and 6s of various origins. It's all on there. However, once you've opened the packet, these fatty acids are going to oxidize. They're gonna be worthless to your dog once it's been open for a little while. I once watched a dog nutritionist blogger. He got some biscuits in a little box and he shook it about, and then all the oil came off around the box. He left the bag for a week, put some more kibble in it, shook it, and there was no oil left. It had all gone, evaporated, oxidized, disappeared. So
Yeah.
I think supplementing that into the diet instead of relying on it, there is the processed food. I mean, any amount of fresh food you can add is good. I mean, even if you can add just 20% veg, add it in. It's fresh food. It's going to be better than feeding 100% processed food. You know, we can only do the best we can with the food that we have.
Yeah. But in terms of like nutrition as well, I suppose like you say, it is very important to actually add some nutrition in there alongside of, because I think, you know, pet food manufacturers are very good at sort of like hiding really what the ingredients are, and kind of stating, yes, there's this, that, in terms of a nutritional aspect of it. But when you actually really dig down deep, there's not an awful lot of nutrition in there.
And I think it's available nutrition. I feel available nutrients to the animal, and because it's cooked at such a high heat, and even these ones that are cooked at a low heat, you're still processing the food. You are changing the form of it. You know, you're changing the food that they're ingesting. So now they're ingesting a food that their body hasn't evolved to deal with. Yes, they can deal with it because they are very versatile creatures, but you have now changed that aspect. And I feel that going back to a more natural diet is common sense as such.
Yeah. So let's move on to kind of like more of a natural, fresh sort of raw diet, which obviously, if you're feeding something like that, it does have the essential fatty acids, it does have the omegas in there, with obviously the proteins, etc. So you're feeding more of a nutritious diet. So when would you kind of like be thinking about maybe supplementing with that kind of natural diet? Because I have a lot of people say to me, look, I feed a complete, you know, I've got a raw food, it's a complete. I don't feel that there is any kind of like necessity to be adding supplements to that. But then it's a whole spectrum of what is a complete, and really, again, what the percentages are in that.
Yeah, it seems to be that so many people have really jumped on the 80-10-10, you know, that complete marker. And for me, the 80-10-10 just isn't complete. It doesn't hold everything they need. I mean, if you're feeding just a meat-based diet, you're missing the omega-3s and 6s. So yeah, you're missing that vital aspect of that already. Also, you are going to be missing probiotics and prebiotics. So, I just got a message through. It all went blank and everything. I was like, what? Come back.
It's all right. I had something come through earlier on, and I actually just had to flick it off, and I went off. I was like, oh dear.
Oops, what have I done?
You just pause for a second.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But then, you know, I feel that if you've got a healthy dog and there's not anything wrong with your dog, or back.
Have you got another message for me?
Yeah, I have. Unless your animal has a genetic disposition to a certain trait, I don't know, like hip dysplasia or something, in these dogs you'd want to be supplementing a very anti-inflammatory diet and a diet that is going to support ligament growth, joint health, bones, and muscle growth. And so they're things you need to bear in mind. But for a healthy dog that you can't see anything wrong with it, it's absolutely fine. We don't need to be supplementing these animals. You need to still be supplementing, let's say, with the omegas and the probiotics and prebiotics, because they are very important. However, when it comes to other supplements like multivitamins and these, they're not necessary for dogs that are healthy, just plainly because you're giving them these vitamins and their body is now. So let's say you consume these vitamins, but your body doesn't need them. It's now got to filter these out because it's not going to store. It stores some in certain places, but a lot of them it's going to have to filter out of the system, and it's going to put pressure on the animal. So now what you're actually doing is hindering your dog, you know, because it doesn't need what you're giving it. However, I will say that, you know, dogs with problems. So let's say, you know, he's got yeasty infections and bits like that. Like, yes, supplements are required and they should be given. I'm not saying no to supplements, and yes, they have a very important place. I'm just saying they have a place in certain areas.
Yeah, and that is a bit of a minefield, isn't it? Because if a dog actually has got a specific problem per se, it's then actually kind of trying to identify what that issue might be. And it might just be down to diet that we've talked about before, or it might well be a genetic problem, might be a breed problem, those kind of issues. So I suppose, like we have talked about before at great length, it really is more about knowing your dog and knowing if it is a diet problem, eliminating anything in the diet, and then if there still is an issue, trying to obviously supplement and support with whatever the issue might be.
For example, like there are what, how can I describe it? There are parts in the body, or let's say there's cells in the body that have receptors all over them. And you might not know this, but there are cells that travel around the body. They have receptors over them. And let's say your dog it becomes unbalanced and becomes ill, these receptors will react to this. And let's say your dog's after a lot of vitamin C for an antioxidant, it will actually put more receptors out to grab onto this vitamin C. And that's because the body needs it, and therefore it's trying to gain it out of the system. However, if you're like, so let's say again, you're supplementing something that the dog don't need, you're wasting your time, because the dog's body's not collecting it. It's not actually looking for it. If you get what I mean.
It can be quite difficult for the owner then to, like, I mean, even if they do know their dog, but let's say they've got a rescue dog and they don't really know an awful lot about the general history of it, and you know, a lot of people are kind of think, right, okay, I'll go down my route of really what I would like to feed, so therefore they go, right, I'll change over to a more natural diet. But then collectively, I suppose, if it's been fed a processed diet for quite some time, that can kind of have an effect on their general health. And it's about, again, eradicating what those issues might be. So what would they do in supplementing there? Because they're shooting in the dark a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, so run that question by me again.
So let's say you've got a dog, and obviously a rescue dog, because obviously lots of people now do rescue dogs.
I'm with you. I'm with you now. Yeah, so you've got a rescue dog, you've just brought it home, you don't know what to do, you don't know anything about this dog, so spend your time with it. Spend time with this animal. You know, start to learn what it likes, what it doesn't like, what causes anxiety in this animal, what causes worry. Has it been beaten? Has it been mistreated? Has it been malnourished? With this in mind, feeding a fresh food diet will help with this and alleviate, hopefully, stress problems and neurological problems, because on processed pet food, it has a lot of... I'm back.
I think he's got another message there.
It has an inflammatory response. So once you get them onto a fresh food diet high in omega-3, this is going to reduce that, and you're going to see an effect in the mental capability of your dog. I was talking to someone the other day, and they fed their dog a brand, and it literally used to bounce off the walls, and then we put it onto raw food or fresh food, and it calmed right down, became collected, and it started to really gain health. But then it was rehomed, let go, and the person put it back onto biscuits, and it's bouncing off the walls again. And no matter how much we tell this person that the reason it's doing this is the lack of nutrition in the food that they're feeding, they just can't relate it, and they don't want to, for some reason.
But I mean, there's always going to be people that obviously still want to feed a dry processed food rather than a fresh food diet. So like you say, that without repeating ourselves, they're probably more the ones that do need to be supplementing a lot more than maybe somebody that's feeding that fresh diet. We've had a couple of questions, actually. Lewis has said, what supplement was it that you suggested for dogs that are on an 80-10-10 diet?
So 80-10-10, we're going to be talking omega-3s and 6s, so whether that be fish oil, a plant-based oil, whatever works better for your dog. You're going to also want them to be included in their probiotics, but they're going to push up the gut health of your animal, and once the gut health is really good, there is a car, really, can you hear that?
No.
Oh, that's good then, because it keeps going bang, 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 and I'm like, I hope they can't hear that. But so with the 80-10-10, a good fish oil or plant-based oil. If you're looking for infused supplements, so supplements like what you promote with infused oils, watch your dog. Have you got an anxious dog? Feed it some calming foods, and bits like that. Have you got a dog that is suffering with neurological problems? You know, there are herbs that can help with that. That can help with. So, have you got dogs with allergies? There's herbs that can help with that. So, there are supplements for everything. It's just we need to know what we're supplementing for. If you're just throwing a multivitamin or something at your dog in pill form, you're not getting anything out of it, and in my opinion, you're wasting your money. You are just wasting your money.
Hannah,
So
Hannah basically says adding fruit and vegetables which the dog would have in the wild. So again, like talking about diet again, aren't we?
Going back to the 80-10-10, because they're not feeding any fruit, veg, nuts, seeds, etc., you are going to want to look into. You might have to look into vitamins along the lines of I think a manganese is one that is, and iodine is another one that are really lacking in the animals that we farm. So these may be supplements. So if you're sourcing food from intensively farmed animals, these are going to have a lack of, they're not going to be nutritiously dense because they're eating nutritionally depleted foods like grains,
Yeah.
pellets, sugar beet hulls. They're basically eating the waste products from our own food industry, let's say, which makes it difficult. So with the 80-10-10, for a really good 80-10-10, you're going to want to be pushing more organic and so a more organic food, because organic is going to be more nutritiously dense because they're eating a diverse diet, and it's going to be less in omega-6s. There's going to be less inflammatory because
Yeah.
they aren't eating so much high omega. They're not eating a diet so high in omega-6.
Yeah.
80-10-10, in my opinion, probably does need supplementing more than,
Yeah.
let's say, a bath diet, because fruit, veg, nuts and seeds, they hold so much nutrition within them. And I'm sorry if you believe that dogs can't have vegetables. I'm not really going to comment, and it's for the people out there to decide. But
Yeah.
for my dog, vegetables help them no end, like literally no end whatsoever. I must admit, I've worked with a dog that really just didn't do well on veg, but then I found out that it was the veg that I was putting in. So I had butternut squash in there for, I was putting butternut squash in for a reason. I can't remember what it was. It was a lack of something, the dog really didn't like that at all. And once I'd sort of started depleting foods that I'd added in, I found out that was the one that was a big problem. And as soon as I eradicated that, he was absolutely fine. He had all the low glycemic vegetables I could think of, because when he started to react, it was a yeasty reaction. So I thought, right, well, sugars are a problem, so I'm going to have to try and lower these down. But you've also got to remember that, yes, in yeasty dogs, you need to lower that sugar content, but do remember that they still need good carbs. They still need healthy carbs, because this is what's going to give them energy. That's going to give them a lot of energy to do a lot of work. So if you're having a dog that's doing intensive work, like a lot of sport, you're going to be wanting to feed carbohydrates, because that's where they're going to be getting a lot of their energy from.
Yeah. And are they going to be kind of like foraging as well if they actually don't get what they want in that case, in terms of carbohydrates?
Yeah, my boy, if you get him near a blackberry bush, oh dear, oh dear. And sticky weed as well is another one. When sticky weed comes about, he seems to not like it for about 4 weeks, and then after 4 weeks, he'll dive in there. He will dive in there. But then, at home, I've got quite a wild garden, let's say, but I use this for a reason. Bees can come down, pollinate it all. If you keep cutting your grass, bees can't do their job. So there are aspects in my lawn which are designed for that, and he goes and self-regulates. He goes over there and just picks a bit of that, and you can look into self-regulating as well. I mean, you can have a little herb garden at home, certain herbs only, depending, that work for that are healthy for dogs, and he'll go over there, or your animal will go over there and just have a little nibble, have a little pick, and he'll self-regulate with himself. He'll go and find what it is he needs, because the biggest problem with supplementing is that we are interfering with something we do not understand.
We can never definitively know, can we, exactly what they need? That's the thing. And that's the thing about self-selection. I have people come to me, especially at shows, and I've got the supplements out actually available for the dog to try, and they'll say, I think he needs this, I think he needs that, and they'll go away from what they think he needs to actually another one which has got a herb in, which obviously he does need. So it's a very difficult one to actually to gauge.
For me, I would work, especially if you think that you've got a deficiency, or your dog's malnourished, or you feel that you're not giving them enough. I would personally find a vet you trust, work with them, and they can do tests. They can blood test your animals for these problems, and then you know what you're doing. You know what you're supplementing for. You're not going to be supplementing for something. You're not going to be supplementing something that your dog just doesn't need, and that it might cause a problem in the future. Yeah,
exactly. So I suppose kind of looking at the whole basis of it, then, if someone's feeding a dry sort of like kibble diet, then definitely the omega-3s are actually needed. They need the essential fatty acids.
If you're feeding,
without a doubt. And then maybe some other nutritional kind of ingredients, not necessarily supplements per se, but just ingredients that are fresh, that can actually help with adding the vitamins and minerals that it needs. Then with
there's little things that, so with there's little things you can add into the dry biscuits as well. Don't feel that you can't feed raw and biscuits. Like, I know there's people out there that turn around and say, you can't do that. Don't worry. Like, be careful. Like, obviously, you are going to need to be careful with your animal unless they introduce it slowly, as we do with everything. But there should not be a problem. I'm sorry, but they go into the same place. Okay, they might digest at different rates, but that doesn't really matter. Not entirely. And people say that it raises and lowers the pH level. The pH level lowers and raises, not a lot, but it raises and lowers quite a lot anyway. And I personally haven't found any evidence to support that. I haven't. I've been looking for a long time for evidence to support it, but I haven't. So for me, adding in as much fresh food to a processed pet food is great. So, you know, pop some veggies in there, and also variation. Like, pop a few different veggies in there. Like, add one in every couple of days and just see how your dog gets on. If he reacts to one, take it out and go again. Something else you can be adding in is heart, because a lot of dry biscuits are lacking in taurine. Because kibble manufacturers just, they produce their own. Yes, they produce their own, but not enough.
No. And some
you know,
breeds, again, some breeds are more predisposed. Like obviously I've got a boxer, so she's more predisposed to heart problems. So generally, she needs more taurine in her diet. So that, again, it's about a breed kind of like issue as well, isn't it?
And the more diverse diet you can feed, you know, the more different ingredients you can give to your animal, the actual more you're actually making it easier for them to convert that nutrient into vitamins, you know, into synthesizing them into things that the body can use, you know, because if you've got a diverse diet and you've got lots of different ingredients, your body's going to be able to pick and synthesize what it really needs and what it needs to concentrate on. And
so very varied, you know, keep it quite varied if you can.
Yeah, as varied as you can. I know there's people out there with dogs that are allergic to dust, but
I've got one like
that. With dogs like that, now I would definitely say that you need to work closely with a veterinary professional, probably a holistic specialist, because these problems can't be cured instantly. Allergies build up over time, and they take time to deplete also. So you can start feeding your dog the diet that's going to make it better, but it won't do for a month. And plus, it might get worse before it gets better, because the animal's got to detoxify its body. It's got to mend itself. It's got to get better. You know, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. You have to understand things, but then you need to work with someone that can test your animal and to know exactly what it needs. Because if you're throwing supplements into an animal that doesn't need them, like I keep saying, you know, you're wasting your time.
Well, it's also the same as like with these elimination diets. So I know they kind of say, right, you know, and if someone doesn't know whether it's an allergen from environmental or from food, you then go through the process of going, right, you've got 6 weeks of dealing with that while you're still feeding that, and then 6 weeks of doing that. But then in the meantime, if you're adding something else to the diet, that actually might exacerbate it. So that, like you say, blood tests are really crucial, because that's, but then that can change on times as well. So that's not necessarily going to be a one-time thing. That a dog can evolve and change. So it's you know, and what it has. I mean, if somebody knows for a fact that their dog is allergic to like sugars, which causes yeast problems, because I have a lot of people kind of saying to me, my dog really has got a lot of yeast problems, and from that, then they are doing just like the 80-10-10. So they're reducing any of the sugars in any of the vegetables that they're giving. Cruciferous veg is quite a good one for that. But again, they can't be feeding that just long-term consistently. You have to vary that, because for lots of reasons, the iodine level, everything. So it's, again, it's about if they've got an 80-10-10, they know their dog's allergic to some of the sugars in the fruit and veg. Then I would imagine then from that point of view, they all have it, that you do have to then supplement with something on a regular basis, wouldn't you?
I mean, where was I going to go with that one? Repeat the last bit again. It'll come to me. Repeat. Repeat. Repeat the last bit and it'll come to me. I had it just as you finished, and it just went.
I was just saying, with an 80-10-10 diet, that then and somebody knows that their dog is kind of like.
Yes, I know where you are. Yeah. So one thing that I would watch with an 80-10-10, people are going to 80-10-10 because they think, I'll get rid of all the sugars out of a diet, and then it's all going to cure. No, if that diet's still high in fat, you've got a problem. You know, because fat in the canine's body is turned into energy, glucose. So you know, if you're consuming a high-fat diet, you're gonna have a problem. My best advice for a allergy-driven diet would be a calorie-restricted diet with nutrients that you know that they're all right with.
Yeah.
If you do a calorie restricting diet, you are then you're more than likely going to see a bigger effect, because yes, jumping to 80-10-10, all right, it might work, but if they're chucking lots of fat in the meat that they're grinding down, no, it's not going to have an effect.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you mention something about a supplement?
Yeah, well, Hannah said kind of what are the best supplements for allergies? Because obviously allergies is a big one, isn't it? It's huge. I mean, you know, the amount of people that kind of say to me, my dog's got allergies, and they've been tested and they are literally allergic to, or sensitive, I should say, to absolutely everything.
Yeah.
You know, and
so this comes from leaky gut syndrome. If we all know what leaky gut syndrome is, it's where, you know, there's holes in the gut, food particles leak through, the defense mechanisms of the body then attack these food particles, and your body then, whenever it consumes these food particles, reacts against them and tries to kick them out. If your dog has a leaky gut, yes, you are going to be allergic to everything, because everything you're consuming is going into the bloodstream as such, and your body is attacking it. This is where you've got to watch, because really serious cases can turn into an autoimmunity. However, I'm scaring people. My advice.
Important information, really. Yeah. So what would someone do then in a situation like that?
Yeah. So for me, like I've said before, it takes time. Okay. So you're going to really need to be pushing on creating a healthy environment, or a gut environment for your dog. Once you heal these holes, and once you create a healthy gut inside your dog by feeding prebiotics, probiotics, a good fresh food diet high in natural fiber, which the dogs, you know, it can really latch onto and get everything out of, the probiotics can feed off and all that sort of stuff. So the push is to create a really healthy gut. And then this in turn will help the immune system. It will boost the immune system.
It will reduce allergies as well. So like you say,
it just will reduce allergies. But like I've said before, there is no quick fix. All right. Yes. Okay. If your dog's allergic to chicken, all right. Yeah. If you remove chicken, you're not going to have a problem. However, is this problem going deeper? Has your dog gut leaky syndrome, gut leaky syndrome, and it's now starting to actually pick up more allergies? So are you noticing that your dog's actually becoming more and more sensitive? So you know, that's a problem, and it's something that people should really jump on and be looking into the genome and making sure that all the gut is very healthy and it's able to protect the body and boost the immune system.
Yeah. So we're kind of coming down to then really the main essential sort of supplements are the essential fatty acids, so omega-3 and 6, which great flaxseed has got in it, and also then obviously kind of like trying to support gut and digestive health. Because obviously they do say that, don't they? The gut is where it all starts. So
you know, you heal from within. If you can get your. So the problem is that I guess people with these dogs with serious issues need to try and find someone to latch hold of, a professional, and latch hold of them and really get everything, get them involved in what's going on, get them to come and see the dog, get them to spend time with it, get them to know the dog, because these people that have a lot of experience in nutrition will be able to look at your dog and go, boom, that's the problem. Right? But it's something that some people just will not see, and that's not because you don't know, it's just because we've experienced it before. You know, we know these problems, and I might let's say, because the first thing I'll ever ask if anyone ever comes to me about a nutrition problem is, what are you feeding? What is your diet? I need to know everything that's going into your diet, absolutely everything. I don't care what it is, I need to know what it is, because I can't help you unless you're honest with me. I used to find this a big problem, that people would come in and talk about allergies and things like that, and we would go through absolutely everything and they'd still have a massive problem, but they were feeding him some bonios at night to get him in bed. And they never told me that. They never told me that. So I was like, well, that's your problem. I said, if you'd have said that to begin with, I'd have said, get rid of them, and that'd have solved your problem. I shouldn't have said bonios, but anyway, that bit, you know, they were a problem for that specific dog. You know. Okay. That was a problem.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm very, very chuffed then I bought out my Tummy Tastic, because that kind of like solves a whole host of problems supplement wise. So so yeah, because obviously that's got probiotics, you know, fennel. It's got lots of different herbs in there that are fantastic for supporting gut and digestive health. So yeah. So if kind of like, let's wrap in the whole thing up, then really we should just be looking at mainly making sure there's enough essential fatty acids in there, supporting gut and digestive health. And then if there is anything else specifically that you know about your dog that is causing an issue, like stress, anxiety, or if you know it's had vaccines, it's reacted bad to them, obviously then looking to try and support your dog with that, with the supplement. So yeah.
No, that's spot on. I mean, you know, the best part about the fresh food diet is, you know, you need to feed as a varied diet as you possibly can, let's say. We do know that feeding the same protein constantly throughout an animal's life can cause allergies itself. Also,
it's like it's sensitivities more though, isn't it, really, Luke?
So sensitive to a certain protein.
It's like ourselves, and we've touched on this when we were talking about transitioning from, you know, a commercial diet to a raw fresh diet. You can't be it's like us, you can't eat the same thing day in day out. You actually have to vary the whole diet.
And you know, and do think about it like we feed ourselves. You know, you don't make sure you don't make sure you're getting everything perfect every time. Okay, yeah, there are health gurus out there that do that, but I don't think it necessarily makes them any healthier. And there is research out there that shows that people that people that take a lot of supplements, actually later on in life have more problems. There is research out there which supports that. So I know it's a minefield out here, and I'm saying, supplement for this, don't supplement, don't supplement, but know what you're supplementing for. I mean, use the knowledge that is available to you. You know, we have thousands of vets that are willing to help us at a call. We have hundreds of nutritionalists around the country which are willing to help us at a call. These are all people that are going to help you, and that they're going to support what it is that you need help with. Because and you know, like, blood test is one of the most, I feel, a really important thing, you know, to work with and actually know what it exactly is that you're needing to supplement for. But otherwise, a varied fresh food diet with a good omega-3 in it. Start thinking about adding some healthy bacteria in there, whether that be kefir, yogurt, sheep's yogurt, goat's yogurt, or whether that be fermented foods. I mean, this is what we need to be doing. We need to be creating a healthier gut and helping our dogs balance. Our dogs can create balance within themselves. They are very good at, have done it for a very, very long time. We just need to make sure we're giving them that diverse ingredients for them to work out where to put it and what to do with it.
Marvelous. Well, thank you. Well, let me say hi to the people. Jason. Hi, Jason. Hi, Gemma. Thanks for tuning in. Hannah's been with us all the way through, I think, so that's fantastic. Rachel, Lewis. So lots and lots of people tuned in tonight to listen to us.
Hello, everyone.
Fantastic. Hey.
If anyone has any questions, pop them below. If I've said anything tonight that you don't agree with, pop a comment below. I'm more than willing to discuss it with you. I mean, for you to teach me, brilliant. Fantastic. You know, if you know something more than I do, get in touch.
Aren't we? So,
very much so. I can only tell you what I feel I know. So I've also forgot all my notes today, so it's just come straight out of my head.
Marvelous. Thanks very much for joining us, and have a really nice long weekend.
Thank you very much. Everyone enjoys there too.
Have a nice evening, everybody, and see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.